G'day, friends and fans. I think you know by now that feminism is not about rights. It's about power. It's always been about power. Feminism is communism in a dress. It's about ruling society, right? Imposing their morals, standards, belief, structure on everybody. It's religion. It's cult. They do not care about fair or right and wrong or morals. Those are just words to them. Everything to them is a word game. They never back anything they claim with facts or evidence. And when they get it wrong, you never see them back off, admit they're wrong. No, they always double down. They always claim to be about the family, but where's the man? No, it's always about power, wealth, privilege. And of course, destroying the patriarchy, comrades. Now, ignorant Peto, a senior research and policy officer at the Women's Budget Group, thinks that taxing the wealth is a feminist issue. That it's not just about the pay gap, but what about the pay gap? Oh, I'm so clever! Now, oh no, wealth inequality is increasing around the world. It's like some countries are not successful. Ukraine, Cuba, parts of China, North Korea, Venezuela. But never mind that the inequality and growing wealth gap is directly proportional to the work ethic and productivity gap. I mean, is ignorant Peto here as productive as Elon Musk? No, but she thinks she's entitled to Elon Musk's money. Of course! And of course it's the UK. No, because Keir Starmer has to have the vote. And of course the wealth of Great Britain belongs to Great Britain, not the people who made it, no. But wait a minute, I thought communists thought that the fruits of your labour belong to you. No, it belongs to the state. The richest hold half the wealth of Great Britain, so it should be taxed. That there's a great chasm. Oh no. But let's look at the reality, shall we? What is a wealth tax? It is a levy on your worth, not your income. It is the total market value, although some countries do take into account liabilities, but only if you borrowed money to obtain that wealth. But unlike income tax, there is no money received. This is just straight up market value. The accumulated stock of assets, such as real estate, although cash, so money that is already taxed that you put in the bank is taxed again and again and again. Stocks, negotiable instruments that you bought with money that is already taxed, or owning a business. We subjectively value your home at 1.5 million. You now have to pay millionaires tax. Ha 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 ha. Countries, a dozen so-called OECD countries, I say so-called, but they have wealth tax. But by 2024, only a few remain with a wealth tax. Colombia, not the bastion of success. Norway, where only millionaires and billionaires other state, and a nation that makes most of its wealth from selling gas to the UK. Spain, not exactly the bastion of success either. And Switzerland, where yes, they have lots of taxes, but they don't pay it because they pass all the taxes on to the people. Everything in Switzerland, is a joke. It's the same with France and Italy. They have so many taxes. And look at their economies. France is in debt. Italy's in debt. UK is in debt. Switzerland, capital flight, the only people, the only people in Switzerland are there's the average worker, right? The average Swiss, and then the ultra rich who can afford all these taxes because they can pass on the taxes to their customers. But countries with wealth taxes have a missed record. Most of them eventually get rid of the wealth tax or dilute it. You just borrow money and or just put money into this NGO, and this is what they do, right? It's all about controlling your wealth. These people, of course, have no clue. They always talk about, look, where's the evidence? All right, always talk about shared with other household members, physical wealth, men's wealth, such as their private pensions and financial wealth. It belongs to us. These are supposed to be safeguards against old age poverty. That's a joke. You work for 40 years, you get a 40% cut in pay, and you only live 1/4 of your life post retirement. You don't have equity. Alright? And this wealth is taxed. It's ridiculous. But of course they could talk about unpaid work, care work. See, it's always, motherhood isn't paid. So women want to be paid to do something, I have a biological function. I want to be paid, says the woman. Oh, really? I just had a biological function. Are you going to pay me to flush it? If I don't, you'll soon know what biological function I haven't flushed. But this is they talk about opportunities. What for? Of course. Opportunities for what? For fairer alternatives, of course. And we all know what when they talk about alternatives to capitalism, they mean absolutism. Communism, of course, comrades, where you are all equally poor, because inequality. There's no such thing as equality. We're not born with the same height, the same IQ. Not all of us are 6'6" with 6 inches and 6-inch wads, but remember, inequality. You don't see them dating down, do you? You don't see women saying, oh, where's the man in this picture? How unfair. They talk about equal responsibility, but the first thing they do is take the kid off the father, Oh, but of course it takes a village to raise a child. No, it takes a village to raise a feminist because she won't do anything for herself. And this is what it comes down to, right? They talk about opportunities and social welfare programs. Of course, funding motherhood. This is the great blackmail of society. And as in my coverage of the 4B movement, when women were paid to have kids, somehow they had less, but kept asking for more. They had one child, and then not only did they demand time off from work for having that child, then they wanted time off work for raising that child, then they wanted that child's health care, their food, their education, their clothing, everything paid for because of the wealth gap, because the wealthy can afford all these things, so we want to afford all these things. So it ended up Korea paying $200 billion over 10 years to women, and for what? Less children. It is ludicrous. They took money out of healthcare, defense budgets, everything for these ungrateful, annoying fascists. These crybabies in a drag. They talk about wealth gap, never the investment gap, the productivity gap. Women are 31% less productive. Motherhood. I actually have experienced it. I have raised a child before she up and left with the child. And of course women are going to go, ha ha, you deserved it. Ha ha ha, you're such a misogynist. But women make out that raising a child is this great hurdle, this great struggle. And that they need vital services such as childcare and social care and social security. That women do 50% more unpaid work. Oh! And when you're single and lonely, you're doing a lot more unpaid work for your cat. And who cooks for you? You know? How many millennials went broke because of credit cards because they would eat out? Because that's what they want, right? They want their Starbucks, they want their DoorDash, and they go broke. Right? They can't take the pressures of real life, such as, oh no, he spent 15 minutes preparing a meal. I want 15 minutes to prepare a meal. You know, I want to be paid for that 15 minutes to prepare a meal. I'm missing my Coronation Street. But of course, they're always talking about the gender gap. It's been ignored. It's been ignored because you're a whining ingrate. You are a greedy, envious sloth who wants to be paid for tying your shoelaces. I doubt you can tie your shoelaces. What's her name again? Ingrate Pinto, isn't that crappy car by Ford? The real issue, of course, is power, right? And those who will do anything for it. And of course, we all see the politicians who bow and kiss the ring of these fascists who should never have gotten the vote. Because they have no responsibility, right? Oh no, your childcare is so hard. I'm sure the people in the coal mines were definitely privileged white men working 14-hour days, dying of lung cancer. No, but you're so hard done by. No. The only thing you were hard done by is you cried because you lost your source of income and then voted for the next Johnny Come Lately who offered you your pensions and Social Security and then said, you know what? You don't have to wait for a man to die to collect all this. Just dump him, take half his stuff, and don't forget to give us your cut. Don't forget to give us a cut, says the judges and the lawyers. Yeah. Weak men are why we can't have nice things, okay? Weak men create hard times. But it's coming to the time, men, where men going their own way, that let society rot, because that's next. That's the next phase, right? We're in the white paper phase of the protests. Next will be the lying flat movement, which already has hit China. Well, China's actually hitting the let it rot stage, you know. No participation, no dating women, no flowers, no kind words, no donations, you know. A women's streamer, click it off, you know. As women are now finding out, all right, that how much they economically need men. This is the desperation, right? They can't get you to marry them, so now they're reaching into your pocket. This is what it is. But most countries aren't having it. But unless there's more men who stand up and say, "Fuck you, bitch." Thank you for watching. It's going to be... And this is what you have to do, right? Male feminists, right? Fuck you, bitch. Clock out, right? Have no time of day for the male feminist. You know, they're panicking over the rise of MGTOW, and they're panicking that men will no longer pander to the almighty gyno goddess. So thank you all for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. Please support the channel. You can support me on Ko-Fi, Patreon, buy my books, buy my merch. All my links in the link tree, description below, in my profile. Scan the QR code on the screen. Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it. See you in the next video, and bye for now.